Hello, my lovely lovelies. I am going to make a video. I'm going to try to make this video as quick as possible, but as as best as possible, because I have been receiving some requests as to how to make my little mini flower roses and just how to make some of my other flowers in general. But in this video, I don't want to make it too long, so I'm going to go ahead and just start off with making my small flower roses. They look like little buds. They actually are these little flowers here. These little roses right here that I have made. These are so cool. I had actually just been experimenting with black paper, and I'm like, oh, they just became undone. I just kind of like to keep them together just to not lose count of them. But anyway, so so these little ones, I actually dabbed them with some gold ink, and I believe it was Inca Gold. I don't remember. But anyway, these are the flowers that I'm going to be making today, and they are very simple flowers. You can make them in any size that you want. I know that some of you really want to learn how to make these here, but to be quite honest with you, I'm going to have to save this tutorial for a different day, because this is like a whole different component. It's a whole different way of making this flower. It requires molds, it requires dyes, it requires different size flowers and so forth. Although the one that I'm actually making right now, it only requires excuse me, it only requires one flower punch, and that's it. And the one flower punch is actually this one that I'm using. I used to have a big size one, which was like this, but my punch got stuck and I couldn't fix it, and it basically broke. So I really used to love making this size flowers. They would actually come out to the ones I actually just showed you guys right now, but I'm gonna look forward to trying to find this punch again in this size. But for right now, I'm going to be using the only one I have, which is a 1-inch. Yeah, it's a 1-inch flower punch, and it's by EK Success. And I've already pre-cut the flowers. I've actually already have set up the little station that I work on ahead of time. I have my little pokey tool, my wire. Now the size of the wire really doesn't matter. It's up to you. I'm using this one because I don't really use this wire. It's a 26 gauge size wire. When I make my boho beads or any type of jewelry, it's very rare that I use this wire. So I figured, why not use it for the little stick or whatever it's called of the flowers. This little thing is from a jewelry box that I had received a long time ago, and I decided to not throw it away. I'm using it as my little pokey tool friend buddy, because I don't want to use my foam pad for this. I don't want to make so many hole indentations to where when it comes to me molding some of my other flower petals, it makes it harder to work with. So alright, so these are my little petals. I've pre-cut I've pre-punched 3 of these petals. I actually ink them up with what did I use? Oh, dilution sprays. I love to ink these up usually with either sprays or Tim Holtz inks, any type of ink, you know, pan pastels, anything. I actually have a whole little box here, as you can see, with little pre-cuts. I am not playing, people. So, but yeah, this is for another day. Anyway, so what I'm going to be doing is, let me actually put these somewhere where I'm not going to be risking on dropping them. Anyway, so we have the punches, the punch flowers. Now we're going to need a glue gun. That's it. So these are the basic components that you will need for making this little flower. And mind you, it doesn't have to be little. Once again, whatever size punch you guys have, whatever size flower you guys die cut, or you know, use your Cricut or Silhouette, 5 petals. They have to be 5 petals. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with the first one, and don't mind me, I'm actually very used to working in a small space. So I could cut my wire right now, but I like not cutting it off just yet because it helps me when I'm actually putting together the rose petals. I'm going to use this one because I didn't really cover that area up too well. So what I want to do is I want to put the wire through the hole, not too far in the hole, just a tad bit, so that, I don't know if you guys can see, it's just a tad bit, and you want to glue it. Now the glue that I'm using, it is not the cool drying glue, it's the, you know, hot glue. I'm very used to it by now. But you can use any glue that you want. This is the glue I prefer because it's a quick drying glue. And I'm going to give it a little moment for the glue to kind of cool down a tiny bit, just to have it set a tiny bit. And then I personally put my finger on it. You know, it's cool enough, it doesn't burn, just so I can set the glue. And excuse my nails, because I'm a nail girl, acrylic nail. I love my nails done super long, and I just yanked them off because I needed them to breathe. So anyway, so there. So as you can see, the glue has been set. It is set. The wire is stuck in there. Now I'm going to bend the wire from the bottom of the flower so that it sticks up straight, so that I'm able to, oh, I forgot one thing. Oh my goodness, I am so sorry. One thing. A skewer. That was the other tool. You need a skewer. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, y'all. So you are going to have to mold the petals just a small little crease. It doesn't have to be too crazy. All you want to do, and if you don't have a skewer, just pinch the petals, to be honest with you. Maybe that's the reason why I forgot, because I make these so much that sometimes I don't even use this thing. But when I first started, I definitely needed a skewer. And it might not look like a skewer to you guys because I actually use this for everything. I mix paint and all kinds of stuff. But anywho, yeah, so you want to go ahead and mold your petals. Let me go ahead and do that with these. right now, since I have them out already, save some time, stack them up. It's not thick, super thick cardstock to where I can't stack them and mold them together. You don't want too thick of cardstock anyway, because you want them to be a little bit pliable, and that way they don't look so perfect, because flowers are not perfect, they're imperfect. Anyway, so now we're going back to this first one. We're going to make a bud. You're going to grab 2 petals and you want to stack them like this, like within each other, if that makes sense. Oh my god, that's what she said. Anyway, so you want to glue a corner and edge somewhat of the center. You want to apply some glue so that way these 2 petals can stick, but they're intertwined with one another. You know, they do not have to be perfect. Once again, they don't at all. Okay, you're gonna get glue on your hands and fingers. That's the whole process of this. You want to apply, you're going to then apply a small dab of glue on the bottom of the petal, and you're going to stick it to the first set of 2 that you just stuck together, because again, we are creating a bud. Now you have 2 petals left. Once again, a tiny bit, not too much, glue 1 petal at a time, because if you glue them together, it's not going to come out right. So you want to put 1 petal up, flap 1 petal, then the next petal. That way you have a nice little bud, just like this right there. All right, now what I like to do is I like to get some type of scissors or any type of clippers and clip my wire. I personally do it to this size because it's about 2 inches. Yeah, it's about 2 inches. Just because I really might not keep the wire when I use my flowers. Sometimes I clip them off because I obviously want them to be flat on my projects. But this is just a wire I use just to kind of maintain more control. Now, I am going to apply a dab of glue. Sometimes the wire might fall to the side because it's being re-warmed up by the previous glue that you applied for the first petal. Now you're going to insert the flower through the hole of the wire. Now this is important. You want to make sure that the petals are staggered, and the best way that you do that is by making sure that these corners, you're going to see corners from the bud, and you want to make sure that those corners are in the center of the second flower petals. So you want them to be in the center because you want these petals to not fall in the same direction as the other ones that you glued up. So then you start. Once you made the bud, by the way, the process is super easy. You just make sure you put a dab of glue. Do not put too much because you might ruin your flower. You don't press too hard either because you don't want it to be a crushed flower. You want it to be loose, and I'm going to tell you and show you why afterwards. Sorry, I hate these little glue stringy thingies. Okay, so then you just do that. You see? Excuse the little stringies, but That's a given when you're using hot glue, to be honest. Get the next flower, do the same process. See here, you can see corners. You know, you want to make sure that those corners are applied on the center of each petal. You want the flower petals to be staggered. You do not want them to be aligned, because you will not get a successful flower for sure. That is for sure. It's going to look too uniform. It's not going to take in the image of a flower. See, I've done these so many times. I actually do 3 petals at a time. So, but that's because I've gotten used to applying the glue. You have to kind of get used to not squeezing out too much glue. Just a dab of glue on the bottom of the flower petals. Just a very tiny itty bitty tab, and flap them up. Hold it still for a quick second just for it to dry. All right, now you have your flower. Here you go, but we're not done. Now we have to make it look like a rose. See, right now it does look like a rosebud, but I personally don't like this look because it does not look realistic. This to me is not realistic. I'm sorry. If you like it, stick with it. You're done. Bam. I like to take an extra step. Okay, so my extra step is that I take my fingernails. Now, if I had my regular acrylic nails, I would not probably be able to do this successfully because this is kind of technical. But anyway, I mean, I've tried to do it, but just not with these itty bitties. Anyway, so you want to grab the petal, each petal, and you want to carefully just break the fibers down, bend the petal down carelessly. You know, don't spend too much time. Just break the fibers down. And like that. I like to go in a row. I like to not be so perfect. You kind of bend them down and you press so that I hope that you guys can see them, so that they can stay. But you want them to curl, basically. They're curled. They're curled. You can see part of my nail broken out of doing this for quite some time these last couple days, because I love making these roses. And there you go. You're done. This is your rose. You want it to have more dimension, then bring your petals down a little bit more to your liking, and so forth. If you want it to look more flashy, should I say, then, you know, it doesn't hurt to get some of the, it's the deco art, actually. This is a wood gold. It's a finish wax metallic medium. I like to have this for my projects. I basically dab my finger and just give it some vavoom, as I like to say, and flash it up a little bit. Give it some nice gold tips, and I am done. So this is my flower. And again, you can make these in any size as long as your flower is 5 petals. 5 petals. It comes out, and I figured I've actually experimented with different flowers in the past, and 6 petals, it comes out much chunkier, which is fine, but the 5 petal flower is the most successful to my liking, of course, to my liking. But yeah, and this is it. This is my little flower, and I hope you like it. I can definitely teach you guys how to make some more, but this is the first one. Okay. All right, my lovelies, I'm going to let you guys practice, and I would love to see you guys tag me. Go ahead and send me some comments and let me know if there's anything I could have done better. Again, I'm just starting off with making these videos, and I am not too experienced, but I would love to learn, and I would love to share, and I would love to make new crafty friends. And yes, so thank you so much, and I look forward to the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.